Hi, Maria. Thank you. First of all, thank you for watching our video here. My name is Nancy Burris, broker associate with Cartwright Realty. And I'm here today with Maria Ospina from Nourish Me Good. And Maria is going to tell us a little bit about her business and what she does here in our great community of St. Pete. So, Maria, you've lived all over the world. When I was reading a little bit of your bio, and I would love to hear, first of all, what brought you here to St. Pete?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure for me to be able to share this information with everyone in St. Petersburg. It's a beautiful little town that now I call my home.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited for the invitation today. So you asked me what brought us here.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we came here because we love being closer to the beach. We came here about 5 years ago for a holiday, and we loved it. And we used to live in Miami with my husband. He works in construction.
Mm-hmm.
I work for myself. And we decided to still be in Florida, but in a place where, we had been before, where it was flourishing as it is. He works still in that industry.
Mhm.
And when he said the next move is going to be Tampa or St. Petersburg, for me, there was no brainer. It was going to be St. Petersburg because we love the town. We love being here. It's easy. It's clean.
Awesome.
People are very friendly. So we love it.
Good. That's what I love to hear. I'd love to hear people tell more reasons why they chose St. Petersburg and why they want to stay right here. So you have such an interesting background as well. So can you tell us a little bit about what led you to this business of Nourish Me Good?
Well, I used to work corporate. I did that for about 15 years. And then after a lot of traveling and moving around and high, I would say, demanding bosses,
Yes.
I decided to pursue my passion for nutrition education. I had a lot of issues myself with my gut. I had IBS, hormonal imbalances, and I was very stressed out. And I decided that I had to take control over my health. Um, I visited many doctors for different reasons, trying to fix me up. But at the end of the day, no one could actually give me a solution. I spent a lot of time and money doing that.
I bet.
And I realized that the best thing I could do was to be proactive
Mhm.
and take control over my health.
That's awesome. Your company name says it all, but Nourish Me Good. But you got to tell us a little bit more about the services that you provide.
The services that I provide are basically a nutrition education and natural solutions. So what I do is I do personalized coaching programs where I teach people how to choose what are the right foods for them.
Okay.
And I also integrate that with gut health and with essential oils. Essential oils being the natural solutions that
Mhm.
you can start using to replace other pharmaceutical products or skincare products or cleaning products that we currently buy on a daily basis.
That's interesting. I personally have a really crazy allergy to pesticides.
Oh, yes.
So when I read that you had natural solutions, that was really interesting to me. So when we talk about natural solutions, can you tell me a little bit more about what natural solutions that you focus on in your program?
Sure. Well, the natural solutions for me, the first one is food. When you eat the right foods and when you eat organic and when you choose the foods that work for you, that's a huge change in your gut.
Sure.
I mean, what many people don't know is that 80% of diseases are actually born in the gut.
Mm.
And when you start feeding yourself and your microbiome and all the colony of microorganisms that live inside you, they will start actually helping you to improve your health.
Mhm.
So one of the natural solutions is the food,
Mhm.
and the second one are the essential oils. So the essential oils, for example, I integrate them in different parts of my routines. I put them in my skin care products, in my cleaning products. I also use them for washing my foods, for example. Some foods for sometimes when you cannot afford or when you don't have well, it's not that easy to find organic foods.
Sure.
Then they're covered with a lot of pesticides and things like that. You need to do a lot of more thorough washing of what you buy.
Sure.
So, for example, essential oils like lemon
Mhm.
help to remove all the toxicity that bring all these different pesticides into your food.
Sure.
So for me, the natural solutions being the essential oils are something that work in many different aspects. It's not just for cleaning, but for your gut support, for your hormones, for you name it. Just
I haven't tried the essential oils yet, but I have heard wonderful things about it. We're lucky here in St. Pete because we do have good resources it's getting better for organic foods, but still it's not there. I know I have to search for them. It's not something we see all over. You really do have to search for them. So that's a great alternative to that is the essential oil use as well. So you mentioned that you did a coaching program as well. Tell us a little bit about how your coaching program works.
My coaching program is basically a 3-month program or a 6-month program where I do an assessment of my clients. I see where they are and where they want to be.
Okay.
Some of them want to lose weight, some want to gain weight, some already are suffering from a chronic disease, being diabetes, for example.
Sure.
And so what I do is I go to their homes, I do a pantry makeover, I take them shopping, I provide them with a shopping list. I give them certain assignments so that they do them on a specific time frame.
Sure.
And basically, I meet with my clients twice a month, every 2 weeks, and we go over these assignments. And then I follow up because I think most of us have a lot of information, and we can also find many other sources of information online, but it can be a bit misleading, and sometimes it can be a bit too much, and you just don't know what to believe. And then when there's this variety of information, it can be overwhelming. And then what I find is that people just give up.
Sure.
And then they will just go back to what they know, which is the easiest way,
Right.
and that is not the best way. So I, with the coaching program, what I do is that I'm also making sure that I monitor their progress, that I am hand by hand next to them to make sure that what they are doing is the right way. And that if they are unmotivated, then I can be there for them. So sometimes, like I said, we have the information, but we just don't know how to apply it and when to apply it.
Right.
And we want the results to be like this. And we have to be very patient with ourselves and with the process. That's why I don't do diets, I do programs, because I am actually, my whole mission is to help people identify what are the paths that they need to take to basically take better care of themselves, in a conscious way without forcing anything.
And I think your accountability aspect of it is really huge because it's very easy to read something, on the internet and then say, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go out and only buy these things. But if you don't have anyone checking on you to see if you're actually sticking to that, it's very easy to kind of sway off that path. So I think the accountability in your coaching is pretty spectacular. You talk a lot about gut health, and I'm sure everyone else is kind of wondering what's gut health. How can you tell us a little more about that?
Sure. Well, gut health is basically it's been around. There's a lot of information in the media, and there's more doctors now that are paying attention to what happens in the gut, basically. And like I mentioned earlier, 80% of diseases are actually born in the gut in the form of inflammation. So inflammation happens when we are eating foods that are basically not good for us, like processed foods, foods that have been, well, how do you say, they have been sprayed with pesticides, or animals that have been raised in not necessarily the best way,
with additional hormones and injected and things like that.
all sorts of things. So all those the combination of all those causes inflammation.
Sure.
And that inflammation, when it's not taken care of, will develop into a disease. And if you already have that, say, gene for cancer or diabetes, or in your family there's been a history of any of these diseases, it's very likely that you will get it too.
Sure.
And that's when I think, and I say to my clients, the fact that your parents had diabetes or cancer doesn't mean that you are going to get it. You have the control. You can definitely make changes, and you can in a way, put to sleep these bad cells inside your body by making the right decisions to care for your gut in a way that inflammation doesn't get out of control. So, I mean, there's more and more studies now that show that the connection between the brain and the gut is very strong. Our the serotonin, for example, is actually developed in the gut.
Wow, that's interesting.
And these are neurotransmitters that are sending signals to our brain that control our state of mind, our emotions.
That makes perfect sense. That's why so many people are on antidepressants.
Yes.
Probably a correlation there between nutrition, I would imagine, would help with that too.
Yes.
And being tired. A lot of people say tired all the time, things like that. So that makes a lot of sense. That as we're choosing our foods, it's interesting because I have a theory, and I don't know, I could be totally wrong about this, but in the grocery store, because it can be really intimidating, I've heard, it's like you will go down these, it's very hard to resist, but I've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if you stick to the outside of the grocery store, you're pretty safe. So I try and not go down all those aisles. So I try and stick to the perimeter. But I'm curious, when you're there, where do you focus? What do we do when we go to the grocery store? What are the most important things that we need to pick up for our gut health?
Well, for me, the most important part is planning. So it works very well when you know what you're going to eat that week, because otherwise you go to the supermarket that anything is a good option. Then you start putting things randomly in your shopping cart, and sometimes they don't actually relate to the other. You just put them because you like them, but you don't really have any plans to cook with them.
Right, exactly. And they sit in your pantry. That's what makes me nervous about your pantry check. When you come through.
One thing that I do always is to make a shopping list. First, plan my meals for the week, and then create a shopping list based on those meals. And that's it. I go with a plan. In that way, I don't waste money, and I also don't waste food.
And you don't waste time as well.
That's right.
Shopping around,
and then you don't start buying things that you don't actually need. It's not because it's not. And another tip, and this is very important, is don't go shopping when you're hungry.
I have heard that before.
Because
that's a great
anything
tip.
Is a good option. Yes. And then you can just start, filling with.
So eat a healthy meal first and then go grocery shopping would be your advice. That makes sense. So what drives you to do what you do? I mean, it's got to be very challenging working with folks who maybe have never made healthy choices in the past. So what drives you to keep going and not get frustrated?
I get motivated with the idea of helping others achieve their best.
Sure.
Because I think that I personally feel that I didn't come to this planet just to pay bills, go to the gym, and go for holidays and buy nice clothes. I think I came here to learn, and I also came here to educate. And if I can make a difference in people's lives with my work, that is a huge achievement for me. So if I know I can transform and help other people transform their lives through nutrition education, motivate them to make the right decisions, and then be there, because sometimes, like I said before, we have information, but we just don't do it because we don't have anyone to help us through the path.
Exactly.
And it can get a bit rocky sometimes, and then it can be a bit challenging. But when you have someone there to help you find your fire and fight for it, you will do it.
Yeah. Need a little hand holding every once in a while.
Yes, exactly.
a little pat on the back, and sometimes a little kick.
Yes, a little bit of both.
Sure, that makes sense. So tell me a little bit about the profile of the clients that you serve.
Well, normally I work with women between, say, 30 to 60, but sometimes I have had clients that have been over 70, for example, people who are already retired, and they got to a point where their children are already out of their homes. They have spent a lot of time working most of their lives, and now they are taking care of themselves. So it's varied.
That's
it
interesting
changes.
Too. It's generationally speaking. A lot of older folks really didn't have the education that's out there for us now. And if they're not savvy on the internet, or that's a great service that you provide to them. That's awesome. And finally, how can people reach out to you? I know I'm raising my hand now. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I got to clean my pantry before you come by. But
I'll help you.
Thank you. No, I'm going to do it before you come by. But tell me a little bit about, so how can they reach out to you if they want to get your information and get started and have a new self?
Well, I have a website. My website is called nourishmegood.com.
Okay.
So anybody can subscribe to my site. I am the person who would be replying to them.
Great.
I am also on Instagram. You can find me as Ximena Osp. That's Ximena Osp. I also organize different healthy cooking workshops in St. Petersburg. I've been doing them at Rolling Oats, also in different parts here in downtown.
Great.
So for anyone who is interested, they can either email me or they can text me or just subscribe to my site. In my site, there is a section that says contact me.
Help.
So just text me.
Great.
Contact me. My number is 305-332-2920. And I'm always happy to meet with different people here in St. Petersburg. It's been the health cooking workshops have been great. And I think it's also a great opportunity for other people to develop their tribes, to come and meet like-minded people who also want to make changes, because we all need the help.
The support, yeah.
Yes.
That's great.
So
awesome. Thank you. And you can also check out parkbench.com/historic St. Petersburg, and you can get in contact with Maria there as well. Well, thank you so much, Maria. I really appreciate you spending the time with us today.
Thank you.
I learned a lot, so I'm excited
you.
to learn more. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you.